With millions of customers served every day, you'd probably guess most of them are there for a Big Mac, a Quarter Pounder, or a box of McNuggets. In actuality, it's McDonald's golden fries getting all that attention. This unassuming side dish shows up in more than half of all McDonald's orders, making it the chain's single bestseller and the most popular fast food item anywhere. So what is it that makes these skinny, salty sticks so hard to skip? Why is beef flavoring added? And what's hiding inside that mysterious ingredient dip? It's time to get the facts behind the fry. Contrary to popular belief, McDonald's fries really do start out as actual potatoes, just a very particular kind. And no, they're not genetically modified. Over the decades, McDonald's food scientists have trimmed their options down to just a handful of varieties bred specifically for frying, like Russet Burbank, Ranger Russet, Umatilla Russet, Shepherdie, along with newer additions like Clearwater and Alpine. Most of these grow in the Pacific Northwest, where rich soil and a cool climate produce potatoes long enough for their signature fry shape. They're also loaded with starch, which cuts down on how much oil gets absorbed during frying, and very little sugar, so they'll turn a light golden color instead of browning too soon. McDonald's doesn't handle any of the prep work itself either. Instead, the company partners with major producers like J.R. Simplot, Lamb Weston, and McCain Foods, who take over right after harvest, peeling, slicing, and freezing before they ever reach a restaurant. Harvest season gets underway once mid-autumn rolls around, and getting these special spuds out the ground calls for this unique piece of equipment called a windrower. It moves through the rows, digging the potatoes free, then lifts them onto a series of moving mesh belts that shake out loose soil, rocks, and vines. What's left drops straight into a collection truck, moving alongside the harvester. And this kind of operation runs on a massive scale because keeping more than 40,000 McDonald's restaurants fully stocked with fries and hash browns takes some serious volume. That's why the company buys more potatoes than anyone else on the planet, more than 3.4 billion pounds a year globally, with about 2.5 billion of that grown in the US alone. Once the truck is full, it leaves the field and heads away to the factory. At this factory run by Simplot, one of their top suppliers is capable of cranking out over 1 million pounds of fries a day. As soon as the truck pulls up, they release about 60,000 pounds of spuds in one go. A conveyor carries them up and into a dirt and vine remover, where a run of rollers tumbles them until the loose soil and roots fall away. Then comes the tunnel washer, where the spuds get tossed around while high-pressure water jets knock loose any soil still packed into the skin. An optical sorter watches every potato go by, spotting and removing any stones, sticks, or debris still mixed in. Then it's over these screw deck rollers, sorting out anything undersized, so only the biggest tubers make the cut and becoming fries. To remove their skins, every 20 seconds, a 400-pound batch drops into this sealed pressure chamber, where it's blasted with 375-degree steam at nearly 300 psi. The chamber rotates the whole time, and in just 11 seconds, that heat shocks the skins loose without entirely cooking the flesh underneath. When the cycle ends, the tank flips over and dumps the batch out the bottom onto a screw conveyor, which feeds them straight over this brush deskinner. 6 coarse bristles rub against every potato, scraping them skinless. To facilitate them for smooth slicing, they take a skinny dip in this pulsed electric field bath. This treatment keeps them rubbery and flexible, which prevents them from shattering when they're forced through the knife, and instead lets them slice through effortlessly. The softened spuds roll across another set of screw deck rollers, this time sorting by length, before they're directed into small, medium, and large lanes headed toward the knife. Of course, none of this would matter without that signature cut that makes them a McDonald's fry. To achieve that, the spuds drop into these long tubes, where rushing water launches them at nearly 70 miles per hour, forcing each one through a razor-sharp knife grid, like this one. What comes out are those slender fry strips known as a French julienne, sliced to an exact 0.28 by 0.28 inches. Freshly cut, they travel across a vibrating screen that shakes out the tiny scraps, short pieces, and thin slivers. High-speed cameras scan each one for dark spots, bruises, or discoloration. Any strip that doesn't pass gets ejected instantly with a quick burst of air. The surviving strips head into a blancher next, soaking in hot water that breaks down their sugary starches. Blanching is what will give the cooked fries that soft and fluffy center, with a crispy outside everyone expects. Then comes what the factory nicknamed the ingredient dip, a bath of dextrose and sodium acid pyrophosphate. Dextrose is a corn-based sweetener, and it's a big part of why McDonald's fries get that recognizable yellow tint during cooking. Sodium acid pyrophosphate is just a food-safe additive that keeps the fries from turning gray after they're frozen. Now treated, they move through this drying tunnel where excess surface moisture gets evaporated off before they go anywhere near hot oil. Then it's a brief dive in the fryer for just 45 seconds in a 350-degree blend of canola and soybean oils. This isn't the final cook though. It's a partial fry that gives them a head start, so restaurants can finish them in just a few minutes. And one ingredient in the factory's frying oil that often surprises a lot of people is natural beef flavor. So why add beef flavoring to French fries? It's a throwback to the chain's original recipe. Between 1949 and 1990, McDonald's actually fried its potatoes in real beef tallow. And over those decades, that taste became part of what people expected from a McDonald's fry. But rising concerns over the saturated fat in beef tallow eventually forced a switch to vegetable oil in 1990. Not wanting to lose the flavor customers had grown attached to, they added beef flavorings back in, sourced directly from real beef products, all while marketing the fries as cooked in 100% vegetable oil. It didn't stay that way though, because vegetarian groups objected, and the backlash led to a 2002 lawsuit accusing McDonald's of misleading customers who believed the fries were actually vegetarian. Since 2002, the beef flavoring has been swapped for a plant-based version made with hydrolyzed wheat and hydrolyzed milk, with the company now required to disclose those allergens. There's one more twist too. The US is still the only market where beef-style flavoring gets added during the par fry. Fries sold in Canada, UK, throughout Europe, and in most international markets skip animal products altogether. So if you're grabbing a carton abroad, there's a good chance you're getting a vegan batch. Straight out of the fryer, the fries move into this pre-cooler that brings them down to 40 degrees, before going into this 100-yard freezer, dropping them all the way to 10 degrees. This slow, gradual chill helps prevent large ice crystals from forming, which would ruin their texture from the inside out. Now frozen solid, the fries spill out the freezer and make their way to packaging. But before a single fry leaves the plant, a quality assurance team fries up a test batch first, evaluating color, texture, aroma, and above all, taste. Once a batch checks every box, are they then approved for packaging? Packaging starts with these automated bucket weighers, portioning out 6 pounds of fries per bag, before they're heat-sealed and pass through a metal detector as one final safety check. 6 bags at a time get grouped together and packed into these Mac fry boxes. After that, it's all automation. Robotic palletizers stack the boxes, then move them into refrigerated trucks, ready to satisfy fry cravings at over 13,000 Mickey D's across the country. After everything it took to get here, the fries have finally made it to their last stop, the fryer. While still frozen, they get poured into a frying basket and dropped into a 375-degree blend of canola and soybean oils for just 3 minutes, way faster than a raw potato would need, thanks to all the par frying already done back at the factory. There's no beef flavoring added here either. That flavor was already locked in at the plant. But this oil does carry one more ingredient worth mentioning, a minuscule amount of TBHQ, or Tert-butylhydroquinone, an FDA-approved preservative that keeps the oil stable and stops it from going rancid through a full day of constant heat. 3 minutes later, the fries emerge crisp and golden, land in the heat tray, and lightly salted while they're still piping hot. then scooped into their iconic red carton, ready to be devoured. What looks like the simplest item on the menu turns out to be the product of a long, surprisingly complicated process, one that's responsible for the fries millions of people can't stop ordering. Next time you're digging into a carton, you'll know the full story behind every fry. Pretty cool, right? So what's your go-to condiment? Plain old ketchup, or are you a McFlurry dipper? Or maybe you're stuffing them straight into your burger? Settle your debate in the comments. Thanks for tuning in to Made Vision. As always, we'll see you next time.